Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gorgeous Growth Podcast, where we discuss strategies to take your brand to the top. I'm your host, Oscar Guerrero, and today I'm joined by Ameann DeJohn. Ameann is a multi-talented leader with over 30 years in the beauty industry. She's widely acknowledged as a skincare and cosmetics industry expert, author, speaker, and educator. She is also the founder of AMEANN Beauty, the co-founder of Charisma Beauty, and the co-founder and general manager of Media Lab Science. We are so happy to have you here. I'm sure that you have a lot to share with our listeners, and I just want to thank you once again for taking the time to join us.
It is so exciting to be here, Oscar, and thank you for that grand introduction.
Awesome. So why don't you tell me, 30 years in the industry must mean that you have a lot of experience in different areas and sectors, right? Whether it be marketing or formulation. So I would love to know a little bit more about, especially AMEANN Beauty, the incubator. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and what it is that you do there?
Absolutely. I spent my first 15 years in the customer side or customer facing side of the skincare industry. I worked at Bloomingdale's. Excuse me, frog in my throat. I spent the first 15 years in beauty industry on the consumer side, and that was very customer facing. I spent the first 15 years in the beauty industry, very customer facing, in Bloomingdale's 59th Street, in Barney's, selling products, lipsticks, skincare, eye cream. I started with Estee Lauder, and I got a great wealth of experience. And then I worked in the spa industry, educating, marketing, sales experience. And again, this was selling products to customers. It was selling it into salons and spas. It was doing education and training. But it wasn't as fulfilling as I thought it would be. So I opened a salon and spa, and I became a licensed esthetician, and I did thousands and thousands of facials. But again, and I trained thousands of estheticians across the United States. But I still felt like I wanted to know more. I wanted to know why the products were developed. So in 2005, I moved to California and became the general manager of a skincare brand. And that skincare brand was also, it was called Gino, and it was also manufactured at a contract manufacturer. And that is when the light bulb went off. And I think I started to learn about how products were developed. And after seeing how products were made, the ingredients, the technology, and the research and development that went into every single product, I realized that's really where my true passion was. And that's how AMEANN Beauty started. I realized that I could take my knowledge of the experience of how products work on the skin and help other brands develop their products. So AMEANN Beauty was founded in 2007, and I co-partnered with a person who had years and years of experience in product development, because I didn't, right? I understood how products work on the skin, but I didn't understand where to get the package or how to put the formula in the package or what stability was or what compatibility was. And now you need all of those things, right? But more importantly, you need the knowledge of how products work on the skin. And so you can go to school for product development, but they're only going to teach the steps of product development. You actually need to know how products work on the skin. And that's where AMEANN Beauty was founded.
Wow, that's amazing. How many brands have you worked with in your incubator?
So in AMEANN Beauty, we've worked over 250 brands in the past 15 years. We have launched brands that have been highly successful, like Algenist. We have launched brands that completely failed, that were based on cellulite, which in the very beginning, we told them, like, creating one product based on targeting cellulite. Its body products are sold less than skincare per face, and cellulite is the smallest category. But I could not get them to listen. So I said, I will help you create your dream, but I just want to tell you it's a very small part of the market. And after 2 years, she stopped selling the products. But sometimes you can't stop the passion. I can guide you, but I cannot stop the passion that people have to create products and to create newness and innovation.
And would you say like that passion is what sometimes will drive the success as well?
The passion is absolutely the part that people get excited about. It's the part that makes them who they are. They often feel that they're creating something unique and new. We will do a full competitive analysis and show them maybe that their idea isn't completely unique and new. But because of the passion that they have for their products and the ideation and the branding that they have in their head that we take out of their brain at Ameann Beauty, we try and get inside their head and learn what they're trying to create. And that's where we bring it to paper. So although your idea might not be completely new, it's the passion that will make it successful. It's not always the idea.
Okay. Wow. So then, what do you look for in these brands? Like when you're willing to work with the brand, how many brands can you work with in 1 year? And then what are the qualifications?
So what we look for is, the first thing is it something that is going to be easily discovered as new? When a customer looks at it, are they going to think that this is new, that this is different, right? Because there's so many Me Too products. I'm not saying you can't develop a Me Too product, but you don't need me to do that, right? You don't need to work with us. You can just develop a Me Too, put it on Amazon, sell lots of it. And many, many people do that, right? But if you want to create innovation and you want to do something truly unique, we talk to the brand founder and we ask them why they've created something unique. And a blend of ingredients doesn't mean your product is unique. Is there a unique concept? Is there a unique way of selling? The sexual wellness, growth in the past, 5 years has been tremendous. Are all of these products new? No, but the way that they are perceived seems new, right? So we look for newness. We recently worked with a brand that launched this year that's based on pregnancy-safe ingredients. It's called Lady Popal. And there is no other brand that focuses just on pregnancy-safe ingredients and anti-aging combined. And I think that when I spoke with the doctor on that was new, right? We recently launched a brand that was based on capsules. She wanted to create little tiny capsules. The entire brand wanted to be tiny capsules. And eventually that evolved to not being in capsules, but to be waterless. So she launched a waterless skincare brand. And that was new, 2 or 3 years ago. So, and now waterless trend is happening and it's going more, but that's new to consumers. It's more sustainable. So we try to work with brands who have something truly unique. Not new, but unique.
I see. So that's actually, let's talk a little bit about that, being unique. So you are the co-founder and general manager for Media Lab Science. And for those of you out there who have never heard of it, I went to the website and, I recommend you check it out. It is a very interesting concept. Kind of from what I gather, it combines the need for the creation of content and alongside the testing. Is that correct?
What's interesting about Media Lab Science is that I did not create it. I did not think about it. It happened one day at lunch. And it is the combination of science and marketing. And usually the science team does not want to talk to the marketing team, and vice versa, because they don't understand each other. But because I've spent both sides of the industry, what I find is that if you understand science and you understand marketing, they work really well together, and they should work well together, because in your marketing, you have claims that 97% of the people saw more hydration in the skin. Marketing puts that, but where does that come from? That comes from science. So you need both, and they need to live together. And it was through my experience at Ameann Beauty that I realized that it's a huge struggle for brands to be able to get science and marketing in the same place. And that's why Media Lab Science exists. So
when it comes to the marketing end, what services are you offering there? There's a photography or video. What does that look like? And what does that generally do? I know that this is more like the creation of the content, but do you know where that content is then distributed and how it's used?
So when we were working with incubating brands, we would have to go to a clinical testing lab to get the science, to get the proof, right, to show that the products were effective. And then I'd have to go to a photographer and get pictures to show the products were effective. And then I'd have to go to a marketing team and get social content. And then if I was going to do anything on YouTube, I'd have to get short form or long form video. infomercial style or just testimonial style. And that was 4 different locations to get content for one brand. And Media Lab Science takes all of those things and they put it under one roof. We have over 10,000 square feet and we do the clinical. So we prove the products are effective with instruments, with consumer perception. And then at the same time, that same person has their photos taken before and after. And then they go upstairs into our video content and they create selfie style content that shares their experience at the first time that they use this product, that they noticed that their hair felt smoother or softer, or that their skin felt more hydrated, or that their skin is glowy, or that their lashes are longer. And that becomes the proof, the social proof, right? So now I can put on my website that 98% of the people saw longer lashes, but I can show you a photo of that person. And now I can show you a video of that person talking about it. And so every place that you have to create content is now located on every part of your marketing channel: LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, email marketing, website. So where does it live? It lives everywhere. And it depends on what the brand decides to choose.
And then it sounds to me like the content creation is extremely important for brands, as is social media, like putting it out there.
The content creation for brands has been extremely difficult because it first started with, let's get influencers, right? Let's get influencers to create this content. And then influencers became so saturated with products that they would barely do an unboxing, right? If you're only going to pay $1,000, you might get an unboxing, right? Woohoo. What does that do? What does that tell the person who's trying to be interested in the brand or the influencer? It says that they've unboxed this product that they got for free. How do I communicate my message with that, right? So you have to pay more as a brand. And then all of a sudden, influencers become de-influencers. And then what do? Then you have to create your own content. And then how do you do that, right? Do you grab everybody in the office and then people get to see them? What you need to do, you get to see the same people. And so what we do is we take 35 people that are in that study, right? And we put them in front of the video camera on the iPhone, and we create these sets, like bathroom sets, living room sets. You know, we've even done, somebody asked us to do a car set, like in the car. So we've done so many different things in the kitchen, and the brands can take that content and they can make ads. They can post it on social. They can slice and dice it. We've even done TikTok trends. So there's just so much different ways that you can do this.
So for those brands that are starting out, recommendation, is there anything that you recommend in terms of social media? Like, is there focus on one channel, or would it just be like taking a multi-channel approach to this?
I think you choose the channel that your brand is most successful in. We worked with a brand that I had never heard of until I worked with them. It's called Go Pure. And the founders of this brand are so smart. The products are so great. But their marketing was so on point. They knew who their marketing channel was, and they went after it. And they didn't try to be a brand that was on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. They chose one of those channels and they killed it, right? So I don't think you need to be on every single channel. You need to be where your customer is, and you need to know who your customer is. And that's the thing with clinical testing, is that so many people are like, oh, I want to be inclusive now. And I said that on purpose. I want to be inclusive now, right? Where they may not have been inclusive to begin with. And so now all of a sudden they've made products that they want to test for inclusivity, but they weren't designed for inclusivity.
Oh, wow.
And so that makes it a little challenging on our end, right? So we will recruit every hair type, skin color, whatever they're looking for, ethnicity, and we'll test those products. And those people can speak on camera to the results that they got. And one of the things that's interesting is that the results that one person is going to have is going to be completely different than someone else based on their skin type, skin condition, ethnicity. But now, instead of just having 87% of the people saw this change, you have them describing the change that they're seeing on camera. And that has been so powerful. So although they may not have been the target market to begin with, now that we've tested for entire inclusivity, now we can share those results on a day-to-day basis. They have 35 people that have come. They have 35 people that have come at different time points to be able to share those journey. And we can create a selfie journey with selfie photos. And we say selfie, we have a whole team of people that make it look like a selfie, right? They're not just holding the camera themselves. And it looks really real, authentic, and that it was created in their own home. And the brand has this amazing content that they can put anywhere they want. And they have the full license in perpetuity to use all this content globally. We recently did a project in 7 different languages. Because it's California, we have so many different people that speak so many different languages. And we had the interviewers and the interviewees creating content. It was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, wow. That sounds great. So, I mean, from the media from the point of view of media creation, content creation, this sounds great. Now, back on the incubator side of things, and obviously this is all tied together, right? But there's another side to running a brand. Some people love it and some people don't, and that's really like the mathematical side. So like, what are your COGS? Operating expenses, variable costs, all of these things. So do you guys do any work with that?
When I first started, the answer is yes. But when I first started in 2001 and I opened up my own spa, I remember saying to the accountant, why do I have to pay my taxes on time, like my sales tax? And she says, because if you're a day late, they're going to charge you like $5,000. So you need to pay it on that exact date. And I think that was the rudest awakening that I had, is that money matters. I mean, you know that it matters because you need to pay your bills, you need to do these things, but how you manage your money really matters. And I feel really fortunate to be able to have those 3 years of experience. And I had a successful exit in 2004 by a forensic accountant, which I think is also really interesting. So I kept really great books because I'm a rule follower. And I think that brands need to be rule followers, but they also need to take risks. And so we help them follow the best practices, and we share where they can possibly take risks, right? So you need to have this margin, you need to have this cost of goods, right? But here is a potential risk in not doing this or doing that. And I think that it's important that every single brand doesn't get excited about what they're going to create until they put their financials together. There was a book that I read, and I don't think it's still popular, that before I started my business in 2001, I had a friend who was an accountant. He said, and I asked him to help me set up my business plan. He says, I will not help you until you read this book. Fortunately, it's a short book, but it's called The E-Myth. And it was actually before email marketing. So I don't know what E meant at the time, but it was called The E-Myth. And basically it said, do you love making pies or do you love running a business? And the woman turned out that loved making pies decided she was going to open a business. And it turned out she really loved making pies. And when I started out in the business, I don't really love doing facials. I did facials because I love the beauty business. And I stopped doing facials because people stopped listening to the skincare I told them to use. They wanted to talk about their life, and they wanted to talk about all these things that they did on the weekend. I'm like, but how do you not care about that huge blackhead on your face? Like, how do you not care about that? How do you not care that your eyebrows are all over the place? Like, that's what I care about, right? Yeah. I'm trying to give you the best skin possible, but you're here to talk with me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And to have a facial, of course. And so I don't care about making pies. I want to make great pies, but I care about running a business. And every entrepreneur has to understand that if they don't care about running the business, they need to find somebody that need to partner with to run that business, because making pies or making the best facials is not going to get you where you need to go.
Yeah, it comes down to, I guess, the systems that you create in your business to be able to scale it and market it and do all of the things that you've described. Makes
And,
sense.
and if I could just step back to that question, how do you decide who to work with? Right? How do you decide if they're a good fit for you? And as a product developer, we can only do a certain portion of the business, right? And we can advise you on other portions because I've had lots of experience in starting businesses. But it's your vision for the business that's going to make you successful, right? It's every day when you wake up and you say, I see myself here. I see my brand in Blue Mercury. I see my brand in Sephora. I see it on Amazon. This is how it's going to sell. And every day you wake up and you drive towards that, right? That is what's going to make you successful. Not the best product, because you can make the very best formula on the planet. It could test the best. It could be the best, right? Clinically, it could be the best. If you don't have the drive, it won't be the best. It won't sell the most, and people won't buy it.
That's great advice. Thank you. Thanks for that. Before we end, is there any last words that you would give, any advice you would give budding entrepreneurs looking to get to the next level? Maybe they're stuck, anything that, or a common problem that you see, that they can overcome?
That's a really, really complex question. But my first thing is really understand why you're doing this. Is it to create the best brand? Is it to create sales? Is it truly for passion? Why do you want to do this? And can you do something else instead of this? Because the entrepreneurial journey is hard and you will fail. And at one point you will fail. And everyone says, no, I won't. No, I won't. No, I won't. But the most successful people have failed. I've failed. I've had a failed business and it's hard. But you learn so much and then you can share that. And I said the second part of it is when we work with brands, whether it's with Media Lab Science or AMEANN Beauty, is that we always share everything we know. And I think that is the most important part, is that we're all in this industry together and we should all share our knowledge.
That's great. Thanks so much. Listen, I want to thank you for your time and all the advice that you shared with us here. If people want to find out what's going on with Ameann DeJohn and where they can follow you, where should they look?
They should look at LinkedIn because that's the most comprehensive profile that I have. You can find me all in one space talking about all these different things on any given day. And if you Google my name, Ameann DeJohn, you'll most likely find my phone number and my email address. So, and they're also on the Media Lab Science website.
That's awesome. Thanks so much. Have a great one.
Thank you, Oscar. Take care.
Take care.